I'm here with a man who I think said he voted for Obama in 2008.
That's correct.
And he's going to now give me his 25 words or less best reason why he is or isn't going to vote for Obama again.
Well, they say when Franklin Roosevelt was president, he said, if you really want me to do the right thing, develop the popular movement underneath us to make me do the right thing. That's why we're out here in Occupy Phoenix. I think Obama's not been strong enough in opposing wars, the power lead, and taking a populist
But will you vote for him again?
Yes, I will.
You will.
But not because he's as strong as I want him to be, but some of that's our fault. We need to have a popular movement on the streets, and I think that's what this Occupy movement, Occupy Wall Street's all about.
Okay, so what is the one thing you want to see him do in the next 4 years?
Well, you know, Jesus said, what you do the least of them, you do unto me. It's not only middle-class people we have in this country, but poor and working-class people. We really got to take care of our own people.
And how do you propose that he do that?
Well, I think a jobs program along the lines of Roosevelt's absolutely important. We need to have a long-term program of educating our people, a bubble-up program, take care of the people in the bottom. But let's have a jobs program. Let's keep people in their foreclosed homes instead of just giving the money to the banks. Let's student such a way that they can stay in their homes.
But wasn't his $797 billion stimulus, wasn't that a jobs bill?
No, it was not enough, obviously. I mean, what got us out of the Depression was a giant jobs program.
What about?
Unfortunately, it was a war after the New Deal, after the WPA. I don't think we need to get a war to get out of this, but there needs to be massive government spending to address our infrastructure, to educate our poor.
What about this, for example, Solyndra? Over half a billion dollars right down the rat hole, no jobs created. Are you for the green jobs initiatives?
Absolutely, but I think absolutely there has to be checks and balances. Anything. There's a famous statement: "Power tends to corrupt, ultimate tends to corrupt." Absolutely, that has to be checks and balances. This whole depression, the biggest recession that we've gotten since the Depression, was because checks and balances are not provided to our financial market. There has to be a place for the free market, and also checks and balances by the government. And of course, government, like private sector, can be abusive if there are not checks and balances to it. If there's any wrongdoing, it should be prosecuted, just like any Wall Street wrongdoing should be prosecuted as well.
Are you happy with Joe Biden, who was supposed to watch over things like Solyndra? He was supposed to be the guy watching out for this and not following up on it, making sure that there wasn't waste?
Too much money and interest involved in all of this. The lobbyist gets involved, and the people who give the biggest campaign contributions have the most sway to politicians, Democrat, Republican, any side. There's a real systematic problem in our country that money and interest say it all. In a democracy, should be for, by, and of the people, not for, by, and of the 1%. And that's why, you might disagree with people out here, but people should be outside expressing their viewpoint.
Are you inside the Democratic Party in any way, or any political party?
No, I mean, I'm politically active, but I'm been very
Are
active.
you a independent voter?
No, I primarily vote Democrat.
But are you registered as a Democrat? And are you active in the party locally?
When there's a candidate I support, I go door knocking for that person.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Your question is an interesting one. You asked that question about the 100 persons against the Lord's Army, and I guess it went to Uganda. I just read about that in the New York Times. We're a member of the United Nations. Under the United Nations mandate, you have the right to have self-defense. But if it's not self-defense, you can have an army with the approval of the Security Council. So whether it's just
did he get approval?
No, he did not. And so I think that's wrong. I oppose a president, whether Democrat or Republican, when they do the wrong thing. I'm for them when they do the right thing. It's not. Who cares?
He did at least inform Congress this time.
Yes, but that's a start. But we're also a member of the United Nations. I mean, this is again, the United Nations was not founded. It was our president, Franklin Roosevelt, after one of the biggest wars in American history. Now, sooner or later, and maybe most of us think it might be unfortunate, we're not going to be the giant superpower in the world. Historically, there's rise and fall of military.
What is the best thing that the United Nations has ever accomplished?
Well, they've had many, like with East Timor, the boats. This was a country that was invaded by Indonesia, and they allowed them to have independence. There's a lot of situations where they do act as peacemakers. It's not enough, but many times they do the right thing by, worshiping the last
that is the best thing they did?
That's one among,
what would you say is the best thing they've ever accomplished?
Okay. To tell the truth.
Okay. Hey, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it.